Market crashes, economic volatility, we've seen it all. That's all over the headlines. And honestly, there comes a point where it just becomes fear mongering and no one really has an answer to it. We've seen the same thing back in 2020. And I wanted to take you into how we dealt with that back then and how we actually thrived during those times. So if you're looking to launch a business and you want to launch a thriving business, or if you have an existing business in the digital space, whether it's a SaaS marketing agency or you have a digital agency, or you want to get into that market or you want to scale, I'm going to take you through exactly how you can do this when there is economic volatility. And honestly, I would say that we're very good in this market because it's what we did, is how we had rapid growth on this space. But post after post after post on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, every time you turn on the news, any newspaper, any news article, whatever it is, they all tell business owners to buckle up right now. It's just constant, and I get fed up with it, if I'm honest. You've got two options. If you're in this space, you have two options. You can either let this blindside you and hit you like a bus and wreak havoc, or you can take advantage of this and position your business to boom during this time. There's a huge opportunity right now. If you're looking to launch or scale a SaaS marketing agency or a marketing agency in general, it is the time. However, if you continue on as you have been for the last few years, it's a recipe for disaster. I remember back in 2020 when everything was closing down. Clients were cancelling their accounts left, right, and center. During that time, my agency actually boomed. It wasn't luck. I took a step back and I analyzed what was going on in the markets. Then I positioned myself for the demand. And that was the secret. I positioned myself for this demand. Rather than losing clients, my relationships actually strengthened during this time. Clients would consult me. So we were a marketing company. We had marketing clients with different services, mainly paid ads. They would actually consult me on whether or not they should let their SEO company go. So I wasn't in consideration to be cut. They would ask us, should we cut this? What do you think? Because we're basically consulting them at this point. Yet they didn't end the relationship with us. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly how I did this and what I'm going to do this time round to replicate the results and what you can potentially replicate as well. The reality is economic volatility puts a business or puts businesses in general in a position. If you can see this opportunity, you can thrive. If you don't, you're going to struggle. As the economy tightens, layoffs start to happen and the customers don't spend money as freely, right? The classic case. The truth is, a business owner faces a floor. Their natural reaction is to cut their costs, as with everybody, right? Everybody stops spending and that's what causes a recession. So any service that's, say, $2,000 a month, they view it as an expense and then they cancel it. So it's a natural progression. The higher price point, $2,000 a month, it's an expense, they cancel it. This is how you lose clients. And if you stick around that point, you continue to lose clients. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you have an existing agency, you need to take advantage of this. The business owners will eventually reach a floor. They can only reduce their expenses so much, right? There's a limit to how low they can actually go. Eventually, they can't cut their rent, they can't cut their product cost, and they can't operate with bare bones staff because the quality of their service, customer service, it reduces and then customer satisfaction drops, which is like a never-ending spiral, right? If you can imagine a spiral, that's what's happening. They're not bringing in new business, they're cutting their rents, they're cutting the product cost, product quality declines, the customer service declines because they're laying people off. It just becomes a mess. And it's a race to the bottom at this point. It's the fastest route to failure. And it leaves them with two options and only two options. They're either going to struggle and eventually give up, or they aggressively go in the opposite direction and drive new business. This is a psychological shift, which is step one. However, we need to understand market dynamics here. Not only am I asking a business owner to make that psychological shift, I'm also asking them to execute on it. So there's two hard things here. They've got to make the psychological shift and they have to execute on it. I have had clients, even very recently, before, I'd say over the last month or so, before this it hit the news really, and they were going through this psychological process, and it isn't an easy thing to shift. So this is why it's step one. It's not easy to shift out of this mindset, but it's a requirement. You have to do it. You have to go from defensive into aggressive. So then we've got the second shift, which is executing on it. Now, if I put price friction in there, so if I have 2K per month, 3K, 4K, whatever it is, it's too much of a gap to bridge. They've got to do two shifts. And if they can't do the second shift because there's also the hurdle of the price point holding them back, makes them nervous, they're never going to do it. And this is where everybody goes wrong. They try to continue as they are without actually understanding the mindset of the space. If you can understand the mindset and also build offers that can actually help that business owner directly, you're going to sweep up the business. You're not going to lose the clients. You're actually going to sweep up that business. Now, normally a business owner can look at two different services, one at $100 per month. This is standard times, right? You've got two services. One is at $100 per month and the other is at $2,000 per month. Psychologically, they might determine that the 2K per month service is better, right? Because they think, well, it's a higher price point. It's going to be better. I should go for that one. I did it a few weeks ago with a phone, right? I thought, well, this one's more expensive. I'll just get this one because it must be better quality, right? Now, in a recession, this doesn't happen. They gravitate towards safety, and the equation that normally exists doesn't work out. It doesn't materialize. They go for the lower price point because it's safety, it's security for them, it's less of a risk. Now, what does this mean for you? It means you need to restructure how you're operating. It doesn't mean that you can't offer a high ticket service. You still can do that. You need to do this through an ascension model, though. So you can't, and I would never offer the high ticket service or the high price service for a cold audience as your only primary solution. That is a road to failure, right? Especially in this market, in this economy. You need to do it through an ascension model. You need to provide a solution to a larger mass market and then only ascend the tier one customers, the cream of the crop, creme de la creme, into your higher end offers. This is more important than ever. More important than it has ever been. You have to use the ascension model. This is how you can still have that cash flow, hit those higher end price points without struggling like everybody else will. You need to position yourself as an asset rather than an expense of the business. Trust is going to become a huge factor in this because every dollar means more, right? They don't have an endless amount of capital. This means that if every dollar means more, every decision means more. So trust becomes a huge factor. You've got to simplify your offer structure as well, must become very streamlined. So rather than offering the different bells and the whistles, offering things like review management, those things are not going to work because although as a marketer, we understand that it's a need to have, right? People buy based on reviews. When it comes crunch time, when time to make that decision, business owners view it as a nice to have. And it's just the reality, right? We can't really change that. Psychologically, they view this as a nice to have, even though it's not. And even though it has a massive impact on their sales, they still view this as a nice to have. So it's going to be difficult to sell that. This is why they then cancel as well. We need to focus on the needle moving skill sets here. You need to run an offer that allows them to bring in new customers quickly, no frills, just bring in new customers. We're also operating with shorter term time horizons. So when it comes crunch time, when things tighten, people's time horizon tightens as well, right? This is why things like SEO struggle. So many SEO agencies lost clients during this time or back in 2020 because normally it's hard to sell that because it's 6 months, 12 months before it really kicks in. Think about when people's time horizon becomes shorter, it's going to be even harder to sell that, right? So we've got to focus on the shorter term time horizons. When things become difficult, people want out of their situation now. Imagine a time when you're in pain, right? You just want that pain to go away. You just want out of it. You'll do whatever it takes. You need out of it tomorrow as fast as you possibly can. Everyone is like that. That's why when your back is against the wall, you often find yourself executing, right? You find yourself doing things and making it happen because you want out of that situation. And then when times are good, times are easy, you don't execute as fast because you're not under that pressure. So when their back is against the wall, when things are tight, this is when they want out of that situation now. So they're going to go for the fastest solution. You need to wrap your offer around this psychology. This is consumer psychology. So what type of offer structure works and will continue working during this time? Two options on the table here. And if you master these skill sets, you're going to win. The first is the direct call booking funnel. This has a direct outcome for the business owner, obviously calls booked. They want calls, you can provide this. Not leads, not traffic, direct calls into their calendar. This is very short-term time horizon, so this fits this need, right? This is for the business that wants to go really, really fast. So yes, there's an investment involved with paid ads and such, but they want to go fast and they want out of that pain now. We can transform that. We can make it happen. We can move the needle tomorrow. So you can have deals closed for the client in a matter of days with a structure like this. Now, the second offer structure is the ladder funnel implementation, ascending them into a call booking funnel. So both of these combined, essentially, call booking funnel with the ladder funnel. So it ascends them into this. We're still going to have the call booking funnel, but we use the ladder funnel to ascend. Now imagine approaching a business owner. So all the financial uncertainty, economic volatility, purse strings tightening, everything happens, right? Imagine you approached a business owner and you could say, look, I can drive leads into your business using paid advertising without having to sink money into ads at a loss. And then, because obviously the standard structure with paid ads is they invest in paid ads, they invest in Facebook or Meta or Google or whatever it is, and they book calls, then they've got to go close those calls to make that return. So in that buffer time, in between the time where they spent the money on ads and then the transaction happening, there's a bit of a loss. It isn't at the end of the day a loss, but there is a buffer time where they don't have that capital. So imagine you could take that pain away from them, right? Imagine you could say that to the business owner. Imagine you could say that you could do this aggressively, helping them break even daily with 5 calls in the calendar, for example, for your primary service. So leads coming in or buyers coming in every day, which recoups the ad spend tomorrow. And then you've got 5 calls for the primary core service as well booked into the calendar, which becomes pure profit. There's no acquisition cost. You can do this aggressively. So you can take the fear, which they want to go fast, but you can take the fear of investment away from them. Imagine having that power, right? Imagine what comes of that. It's a no-brainer for them. And yet, it's not hard to learn how to do this. It really isn't that difficult. Now, these offers, if you were to build this system out for a business owner, you're charging $7,500 minimum. I've seen people charge 20 grand for this, right? So how do you do this when cash flow is tight? Economic volatility, people are tightening the purse strings. How do you do it? How do you sell a 7.5K offer? Well, every business needs these systems. They need calls, they need customers. This is where you've got a productized model with the SaaS marketing agency. This is where it all comes into play and all comes together. Rather than offering the higher ticket model to any and every client, you only work with the cream of the crop, the tier 1 clients, the best of the best. You only work with them, the dream clients, right? Those are the only ones you're offering the 7.5K build-outs to. You build products around these systems, offering the system, the templates, and some help on implementation to the larger market, so the mass market, including the Go High Level software to implement this for a monthly subscription. So you might wonder, what would my products look like? Well, it's basically teaching how to do this. As you build it for yourself, you're learning how to do it, you productize that model, and then you sell it as on the front end for business owners to implement. This gives the business owner context, which means your retention on the software will be strong as well because they build on the software. So you give them the education and the process of the system because you productize that. And then they use the software in the middle. So you license the software, you give it to them for $97 a month. They license it, or you give them the software. They implement the funnel systems, the products, everything in there. They implement the call booking funnel, their calendars. They use the direct lead booking systems on the platform, which ties them into the platform, gives them context, means they're going to use the platform. This platform usage then becomes retention for you because they're going to be using and building out on the software. So it gives the business owner a complete marketing system and software, so they don't have to go out and get other things, which directly solves their problem. So they're getting calls, they're getting leads, they're able to sell products, they're able to send customers, all for $97 a month, and they don't need software. What a fantastic offer that you have, right? This gets the attention of the mass market because it's better than everyone else. No one else offers this. Then, here's the secret. The tier 1 clients come forward and want you to implement for them. This is where the 7.5K or $7,500 offer comes into play. You're not looking for these clients, they're coming to you. It's like magnetic marketing. And I think there's a company that, I don't know, I've heard that term before, but I like that term too. So it's like magnetic marketing, right? They're coming to you. That's the difference. So we're not chasing or looking for these clients. You're not wasting your time trying to close people that are not fit to be closed. They're coming to you, and this allows you to sell a high ticket service, a high ticket product, without having to really bring on bad fits or struggling in tight cash flow environments. The secret is you are essentially proving the concept to the business owner as they experience it themselves with you, because this is your lead gen as well. You do the same thing. They experience it with you. This means that you can stack monthly recurring revenue with a power offer that beats out everybody else. When they're all trying to offer $2,000 a month, you can offer this and sweep up the market and build trust and indoctrinate them into your world. This builds up and up and up and up like a snowball, creating a very solid business. So you've got that monthly recurring revenue coming in and essentially winning the market share from everybody else. Then you've got huge cash flow from the higher ticket done for you implementation model offer through the Ascension model. That's the key. So you've got both sides recurring and you have that high ticket, and that's how you sell it. That's how you bring those clients in. They self-identify essentially. Now remember, the ladder funnel and the call booking funnel are the systems that you productize. Those systems are what you productize. You think, what offers do I sell? You sell those systems. You sell how they build those systems out. They're also the high ticket done for you implementation offer. So it's your low ticket and your recurring, and it's your high ticket as well. This is also how you generate leads. So your entire business structure, the whole thing is wrapped around this system. And this is going to simplify the process for you completely. You just have to learn this system and you have the entire process nailed. The more you do it for yourself, the better you get at it. So you don't need to learn 10 different things. You don't need to create random offers and hope that they work. You don't need testimonials, because the system proves itself in real time to the business owner because they go through it as well. You solve the short-term time horizon desire. You solve the direct sales solution that they care about. You build market share with a recurring offer that's crazy good value. And you build a solid revenue foundation for yourself without relying on high ticket. And you work with tier 1 clients for done for you implementation. That's an entire business model right there. This is how you position your offer during economic volatility. This is much more straightforward than it seems. You just learn the one process. Once you open the lid on this process and you realize it's all the same, and it's your fulfillment, it is your delivery, it's your lead gen, everything all in one, it becomes a lot easier to do because you're not learning 10 different things. You can basically throw everything else out the window because this generates your own leads and it handles your fulfillment. It gives you your low ticket offer, it gives you your recurring offer and your high ticket offer as well. It's everything. So you can continue with standard offers, waiting to get hit by the bus of economic volatility, client pullback, recessions, or you can reposition yourself and do this, which booms because it hits the needs of the market that is suffering. You can be the one to lose the clients and struggle to get them, or you can be the one that wins those clients because you got ahead of it. You got ahead of the curve. The decision is basically yours as to what you do. This is what I do. This is how I do it. One system. I just become really, really good at this system, and that's it. Recurring and high ticket combined. If you like this content, let me know. As ever, like the video and subscribe to my channel. We're very, very slowly building, but we're building. And I'm going to show you how this is done. Any questions about it, let me know in the comments. I'll take you through the process, how it's done. If any, I like to know your questions because it helps me identify what you're looking for, how you're digesting this, or how you're understanding it, right? And then that helps me build future content that answers those particular questions. So like and subscribe, let me know in the comments, and I can expand further on this model and how you can position for high demand.